welcome you guys to the 12th and final video of 2025. We have officially made it, and this time it's a little bit chaotic because I really wanted to film this video with the same sweater because I thought it'd be pretty funny, and in the same spots. Like, we literally started the series and we're literally starting the series and ending it in the same spot, same outfit, except the top is different. Yeah, so please excuse if there's like a lot of like cuts or whatever. We're filming this with a dog, obviously. And yeah, there's a lot I want to say. I really wanted to film this video early. So it's currently December 17th of me filming this, and I really want to film it early and hopefully get it out before Christmas. So that way, you know, my video is up and out before the 31st. I feel like it should go out on the 31st though. So I don't know. Let me know if you're seeing this in the comments below, if this came out on before Christmas or on the 31st. So let's start off by just quickly going over the goals. I've had, this is probably the only chat that I have to this date on ChatGPT, because everything else I literally like delete or, you know, haven't looked at. So you guys remember the prompt was to create a goal and vision for 2025. And yes, we are not going to talk about the ethics of AI and all that stuff, because clearly this has been a year. This has been a year. So clearly when we started this out, everybody was just like on a ChatGPT, you know, AI binge. People still are. Zoe, leave it alone. Zoe, get your toy. Get your toy. So clearly that has changed or shifted a little bit in these last couple of months, because people have come to realize, like, you know, the pros and cons of AI and just overall like the future of the world. So we're not going to get into that into this video, because I really wasn't using the AI to build. I used the AI to make the video, but it wasn't the AI that made this the best year yet. It was really yourself to make the best year yet, and you just had a little bit of help. But I didn't really, you know, so I told all the things, I answered all the questions, and so there is a letter I believe you're supposed to get to yourself. So I'm gonna read the letter right now, because I have not read the letter, and it's supposed to be December 1st, but it doesn't really matter. It could have been any day in December. Dear me, it's December 1st, and as I sit here reading this letter, I'm filled with so much gratitude and pride. This year has been transformative, and looking back on it, I see all the growth, hard work, and resilience that I've shown along the way. I've kept my values: trust, honesty, vulnerability, organization, time, management, and support at the core of everything I've done, and it's made all the difference. I remember how uncertain I felt about some of the things I wanted to achieve in 2025, but now I see how much I've accomplished. I've successfully finished grad school, and I've applied for teaching positions with a sense of confidence I didn't have before. I'm proud of the hard work I put into my studies and the support I sought when I needed it. This is a sense of fulfillment I've found in completing chapter of education. I'm sorry to cry. Oh my God, this is so crazy. That sense of fulfillment I found in completing that chapter of my education has set the stage for the next step in my career. I'm also driving now. My fear of accidents and the trauma I carried from past experiences no longer holds me back. I took the necessary steps, sought guidance, and practiced consistently. I drive with confidence, and it's given me so much freedom. I can go where I want, when I want, and I feel so much safer. My car has not just been a vehicle, but a symbol of my independence and growth. I do not have a car, but the driving part is very accurate. We'll get into that though. I haven't traveled to California, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Texas, or Vermont, but I did go to Boston twice. Each trip has been an adventure, and I've embraced the joy of exploring new places. Yes. Reflecting on all of this, I know that the mindset shifts I've made this year have just been as important as the accomplishments themselves. I've become more confident in my abilities, somewhat, more trusting of my process, yeah, and more determined to make the most of every opportunity. I no longer let self-doubt get in the way. Not fully true. I prioritize my time and focus on what matters the most, knowing that every small step leads me closer to my goals. Yes. As I open this letter today, I want to remind myself of the journey I've been on and how far I've come. I've done this. I've worked hard, just the process, and stayed true to my vision. And I'm excited for what the future holds, but today I celebrate all that I have achieved. And I'm sorry that that made me so emotional, because that first part of that whole thing is so very true. And this is where we start into talking about, I guess, month by month. When I uploaded my first video in January, I kid you not, life changed drastically. So much stuff happened in between that January video, that first upload, and that second upload, just on a professional level and personal level. And I felt really like in a hard rock, I felt, what's the phrase? A hard rock, hard place? Something like that. A lot of those lines, I'm not really good with those kinds of sayings. I always mess them up, but something like that. I was just in a really like difficult place. And I just remembered it, telling a fellow coworker that we're gonna look back on these moments and be like, this was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be in so much better positions. And I can say that I really wish I kept that video of us where I was speaking to her, because it's true. But I was so proud of myself because I uploaded my first video, and then my February video, which was one bag to Miami, that is one place I did go this year, got like the most views out of this entire 12-month series. So shout outs to that. March, I went to American Dream Mall for the first time in New Jersey. I did a little bit of shopping for my birthday. My birthday was kind of blah. I really wanted to go Turks and Caicos for a solo trip. Didn't really do it. I also, part of me probably just didn't want to do a solo trip, but looking back, when I saw that the flights were $119 to go and to come back, so together it would have been $119 to go, $119 to come back. I should have just booked it and gone for a 3-day trip and then call out of work and then just been out of work on my birthday, because my birthday was a Monday this year. I could have went Friday, left like Sunday, and just had like Monday to myself, or I could have stayed there Monday and been there. My biggest goal was to wake up somewhere other than New York City for my birthday. April was my favorite video, like one of my favorite videos out of this entire 12 months, because that is the month that I started working on my capstone project for graduation. I started working, I think, on part 1, and I started dabbling. Yeah, it was just predominantly part 1 at the time, and I think it lent itself into like part 2 a little bit, but that kind of came like later into April, early May, and then part 3 was just the oral presentation. But I'm really happy that I vlogged that week. My nephew is the one who was like talking about like vlogs, like when you're gonna upload some vlogs. All I see is Zoe in the background. And that's what prompted me to upload that video, like record it, film it. I'm kind of happy that I have it for my memories, because it showed a time in my life when I was working on a really big project, and the Montana then did not know that I was going to get 100% on that project, and it was also going to be used as a exemplar for other future college students who are also pursuing the same program as me at my school. The exemplars, like the examples from other students' work, they take off your name and any other identifying information before they share with other grad students. But that's honestly what got me through most of my assignments, is like looking through someone else's work that was like the similar grade band or similar concept as me. That's what really helped me to get through a lot of my papers in grad school. So I'm really happy that my paper was chosen to be one of those papers that could honestly like really help somebody else. I did my presentation. It took me like 3 or 4 times to record my oral presentation. And I think I did it either the night, like a night or 2 before it was due. More so of making sure that it fit the time constraints, because I can yap. Okay, your girl can yap. So imagine being held to a 15-minute timer. You're trying to get all your good points out, and then you also get sidetracked, you make mistakes, and you really want to sound as crisp as possible. So believe me, it took about 3 different takes. I still have the video and everything. Everything is still all together, so I really just can't wait to, like, you know, down the line in the future, like, look back at it, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fun to look back on. In May, I went to DR, which was really great. Zoe down. DR was listen, it was really great to get out of the country and away from work for a few days. My favorite part was the spa thing. Like, if you watched that vlog, that was like one of my favorite parts of the entire trip. One was staying on a resort. I loved staying on a resort. I feel like resorts are fun. Dude, I am also a adventure girl and like being like off the resort, but it was just really nice. I think like taking a vacation that wasn't like on a set schedule from like set time off. Taking a vacation on days where there was still work felt really good, because I don't ever really do that. And so that was like my second time doing that, but to stay on like a resort and like to just have a relaxing time away from work, it was an amazing thing. And so it's nice. One thing I've learned this year definitely is take the time off of work. Do not wait for these scheduled breaks. If you are a teacher out there, do not wait for the spring break, the summer break, the Christmas break, the Thanksgiving break, the spring break, this break. Take the day or 2 off from work. I'm not advocating for it, but you are allotted personal days to do whatever you want to do. The kids, they need a teacher that is mentally well, emotionally well, physically well. Take the days. I'm not saying take the days to go off the country or whatever, but just even taking a day or 2 just to yourself. I felt like taking that time away, you come back to work a different human being. I recently took a sick day because I really was sick the day before, and I knew that when I'm that sick the day before going back to work, I'm probably going to be about 70% at my best, if not 60%. And my kids don't deserve that. And because I did that, I feel like Tuesday and Wednesday, they got a better version of me than they would have gotten if I came to work Monday. So I'm just saying, take the day. Take the day. You deserve it. And then June, I graduated, obviously. Shout outs to me. It was really great. I really didn't want to do anything. I wasn't really excited about it. It was a big deal. What I'm trying to say is that there's a small percentage of people that hold that title. And so to be one of those people, it's an honor. Because things are getting too expensive. Sorry, the house phone was ringing, and listen, I told y'all, I apologize. Sometimes you gotta fit in where you can get in, okay? Anyway, like I was saying, things are getting expensive. Sometimes people are pursuing these degrees and they're not able to work in the field that they've paid thousands upon thousands of dollars for. So it's not for me to discourage anyone from doing it or down anyone that hasn't done it, but it's definitely a big accomplishment. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about my goals for next year, because, you know, this was great having goals that I actually did accomplish. One of them being that I really do want to celebrate my small wins and even my big ones, because I don't celebrate my small wins and I don't celebrate my big ones. I celebrate no wins. So that's big. July is my second favorite video, because my favorite part of July, honestly, was I went to Governor's Island by myself. I took my niece and my nephew out for another tatty date. Those are always just so much fun, just being able to spend time with them. Something I really picked up on that my sister said in one of her videos, I don't know which one, because I watched a lot of her solo videos, the vlog channel. I can't remember which. I believe it was on her channel though. She said something about cultivating the relationships that already exist in her life, and because that spoke to me. Now we get to August, and this is where the real tea is. So sit back and let's dive into this real tea, because girl and gentlemen, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, listen, let's dive into this tea. And listen, in June, I heard about a transition that was happening at my previous job. And the transition was not my reasoning for leaving the previous job. The last school year at my previous job was a roller coaster. And I would never come on here and bash anyone, blame anyone. I played my part, I'm pretty sure, and people play their part in making the experience not that great. I'm not a victim. I will never place myself to be a victim. Look at it that way. I look at it as it was a very hard year. It was not enjoyable. And with all the transitions that were going to occur in this next school year, I just didn't think that I was well equipped to handle all the transitions. A common theme for this year that I've heard being as advice to myself, like this is advice that has been said to me repeatedly, that I need to put myself first. I always worry about everybody else, everything else, everyone else's feelings, everything else's feelings, this, that, X, Y, Z, G, H, but I don't worry about me. And I don't put me first. I don't ask myself what makes me happy. And so that transition that I made was about me making myself happy. It wasn't serving me anymore to be there. And and it was a hard decision because I was going through such big emotions in July about this transition. Like, I can't explain it to you. This was not a decision that was ever made lightly. And I wish that if you were there with me because you were there because of proximity, or because you called and you asked me what I was doing, or I came to you, which I didn't really go to. I only went, to be honest with you, I only spoke for real. I could say really and truly that I only really reached out to 3 particular people to help with this decision. And it was the last person, and I'm going to get into that really solidified the decision for me. So literally the week before I was supposed to return to work in August, I decided to do a little staycation because back in July, I was supposed to go to Nashville. I canceled Nashville because I was nervous to go on a solo trip by myself. Look at me now, solo trip girly. We'll get into that though. And I took a staycation by myself in the financial district. And I wanted to do it by myself because I really wanted to just like explore the city, like a different part of the city. I don't really go into Manhattan like that, like a lot of other people do. I'm a Brooklyn girl through and through. I've actually had a person make fun of me in a nice way. They were like, "Girl, you got to Brooklyn." But it's just true. Like, Brooklyn is just like so easy for me to navigate, to hop on the bus, hop on the train, walk around. Like, I know this borough for the most part like the back of my hand. I also had a networking event that I went to learn about, you know, working in public schools. And it was there that I decided so my trip was from like Monday to Thursday. So I got there Monday afternoon. I had my networking event, I think it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday, I had a networking event. It was Wednesday, I decided to rent a bike. And this was supposed to be a whole vlog, you guys, that I actually recorded and made. And I never got to being fruition. It never turned into a vlog because I deleted it. Because it started to get really personal. But I really wish to this day, one of my biggest regrets, and I try not to have regrets because I feel like regrets are bad. You make the choice you make. You can't regret it. Like, everything happens for a reason. You just can't regret it. Like, it happened for a reason. You chose that way. It happened. It's either a lesson that you learn and you move on, right? You can't sit here and live life with regrets or down in the dumps about something that you chose to do. You did not know what was going to be the outcome. This was the outcome. All we can do is learn how to live with it and move forward and make better decisions next time, or work through this. I've been spending a lot of time by the water, and this is South Street Seaport, by the way, and I love being by the water. I'm such a water girl, even though it's like the nasty New York City River. But y'all get the point. There was just something about sitting by the water. There was people, like, it's a summer day, but there are people that are working. I don't have work. I'm off from work. But these people, their lives are still going. They're just getting lunch and they're just sitting by the water, listening to music, eating, having lunch with a coworker. There were some couples, a lot of tourists, but y'all get the point, right? Like, it was a beautiful scenery and it just had me, I just felt calm. My brain was not racing with thoughts. I was just taking pictures, listening to music. At the time, I was doing a bunch of like Instagram dumps throughout the summer. I was playing around with like photography, like phone photography a little bit. So it was like, that was where my mind was at. For the first time in a month. And it's crazy because YouTubers, content creators, they always say you don't know what someone is going through behind the scenes. You only see 15 minutes of their life. They are so true. Because why was my life in shambles? My life, I won't say it was in shambles, but I was going through a lot emotionally because I at the time, I knew my answer. I don't think I was ready to face my answer. I was afraid of making the wrong decision. And that's what it was, right? And so basically, you know, life may have seemed really great in that July video, but in between all those really great moments, there were days I had to pull myself out of bed, and no one knows this. It's funny because there were a lot of moments, you know, that in July where I felt myself being really sad and I didn't really want to get up out of bed. I didn't really want to do anything. And I just felt like I wasn't really job hunting. I really was content with going back, but I didn't really want to go back. I had so much anxieties and worries, and I didn't want to talk to people because the people that I was talking to, they already knew, and they were telling me what to do, but I just was afraid. I wasn't afraid of being jobless and money. It wasn't that, you know. I just didn't want to sit at home for months if I didn't get a job, right? Like, I didn't want to sit at home. I really wanted to do something because I know the more I sit at home in my thoughts, I wouldn't be well. And that's really what it was. I didn't want to have to sit at home. I'm such a busybody. And then eventually, and this is what happened in August. So that Wednesday, I believe it was like August 8th, somewhere on there, somewhere around that week, whatever that first Wednesday of August was, that was the Wednesday. I rented a city bike and I rode from South Street, Streetport, all the way to Times Square, 42nd Street, using the bike lane. Shout outs to V. And before I started my ride, I was underneath, I remember because I rode the bike under the bridge, and then that path was closed. So I had to kind of ride the street a little bit to get to the bike lane to kind of get back on track because, yeah. But anyways, to cut a long story short, I'm standing under the Brooklyn Bridge and this song comes on by Adele. Now, this song is in my liked songs, so I probably heard it a handful of times, maybe at least 20, 30 times, right? Because it's in my liked songs. This album from Adele came out in 2021, so I've heard this song before. But y'all, there was just something about that moment. And people say God works in mysterious ways. I've changed that phrase. It is not mysterious. It's intentional. God works in intentional ways. Things happen the way they do for a reason. And you may not always know why that is. You may never know why. Because by the time you figure out why, whatever the reason it was, it has already come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. But this song played. And I've always been a firm believer that he speaks to me in music. And I don't mean like the word, specifically like gospel or like gospel music or the word. And I don't mean music with the cussing. No, I mean songs that are, because it's just strange. This song has been in my liked songs forever. But this is the song that changed everything. And it's strange. And I totally believe that it was intentional. She says, "Oh, what have I done yet again? Have I not learned anything? I don't want to live in chaos. It's like a ride that I want to get off. It's hard to hold on to who I am. When I'm stumbling in the dark for a hand, I'm so tired of battling with myself with no chance to win." And then she says, "Hold on, let time be patient. You are still strong. Let pain be gracious. Love will soon come. Just hold on. I swear to God, I'm such a mess. The harder that I try, I regress. I'm my own worst enemy. I felt like that was literally, the Lord was literally talking to me and telling me everything's gonna be okay. I kid you not. Once that happened, everything just felt like whatever, you know? Like, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. The Lord was literally saying to me, Montana, I've been talking to you through all these different venues, through all these different people. You're not listening to me. Right, Zoe? And I thank him for being patient with me, because I can be a handful. I'm a stubborn child, okay? And this was him telling me, like, and then like later that night, going into Thursday, I made the decision to quit. And my sister said this to me, and she was like, of course you're going to be sad. Of course it's going to hurt, because you're closing a chapter. You're leaving something that you've known. That's not an easy decision, and you're going to grieve. Baby girl, can I record my video? Leave it alone. I got home that Thursday afternoon, and I slept the entire afternoon, and then I woke up later that night, and I hadn't seen my brother, and he's probably gonna hate that I'm telling this story on social media, but listen, I have to share it because this might help somebody. I'm a firm believer in that. I find things online all the time that help me, so might as well, right? My brother said, I was talking to my brother, and I expressed like my concerns and about wanting to leave. And then at first he said something that, like, you know, put me back into like you know when you already made the decision, but then someone kind of says something and you don't fully really, like, you misunderstand it, or you take it a certain way, like you're taking someone else's thoughts as your own. I do that a lot. It's bad. And then they rein you back in, and he reined me back in. He put me in front of the mirror, and I'm in full-blown tears. And he was like, it seems like you already know the answer to your question, because if you wanted to be there, if you wanted to go back, you wouldn't be looking like this. And I felt like a mess, crying, slobbering mess. And he was the final thing. I didn't need him to be the final thing, but it's almost as if, like, when you're being told to do something, I am a stubborn child. I am one of God's most stubbornest children. I will admit that. He knows that. That's why he's patient with me. I'm a firm believer in that. It's crazy how I took a nap, I woke up, I went down to eat. He just happened to just want to talk to me because he hadn't seen me in a couple of days. He was checking in on me, and I found it funny. Like, it was like every step of the way there was something to make sure that I made the right decision, and I made the right decision. So August was a very heavy month for me, but also lightning, because I left another job and I got another job. So it all worked out at the end of the day. And I would not have I've met two really amazing people, and this is why I was able to go to Boston. October, I went to Boston, as you all saw. September was my nephew's birthday. September was really great. October, I totally forgot that I booked my Boston trip until my sister reminded me. I went on my first solo trip. I'm a train girly now. I love it. I also got Zoe. By the way, I did get Zoe's DNA results. I did say that I would tell you guys in this video. She is an Australian Shepherd, American Pit Bull Terrier, Labrador Retriever mix. She, in the words of my brother-in-law, she's custom. When he said that, the scream that I scrubbed, woo, that was a good one, Jeffrey. Listen, she is custom, because what kind of mix is that? Honestly. And I talked a lot about this in my puppy video. I'm really glad that I kept her. At the end of the day, I'm really glad that I kept her. One thing I've also learned because of her mix, nothing about her mix is bad. So you see the word pit bull and you're like, oh, listen, I said the same thing. Anything. the thing about the pit bull is that they are a family dog. So contrary to, you know, the belief, the thing is that breed has been used in dog fighting, to be aggressive. The thing is, if you read exactly what it says for that breed, she's everything that it says. She is a affectionate girl, very loyal. The Australian Shepherd dogs as well. They are very loyal, very affectionate. They always want to be under their person. And I heard a thing where female dogs also just bond to one person like the most, because it's usually the person that trains them. And I think I am the person that did bring her home. I do feed her all 3 of her meals most days. Like, a majority of the days, I am the one that feeds all 3 of her meals. I'm the one that trains her. I'm the main one that really plays with her. So I do think that she does have a stronger bond to me, but she's not necessarily like, she's always at my ankle, but she loves everyone in her family. I know right now she's very high energy, which apparently comes from the Aussie Shepherd, because she's an Aussie Shep. That's what she does. She's very high energy. Her bone structure, like her chest structure, is from the Pit Bull Terrier. Like I said, she's a puppy. I will never ever in my life get a puppy. And like I said in my previous video, I wanted an older dog. It is okay. We live and we learn. Zoe will also be the last dog. Zoe will also be the last dog that I will have her have. I don't know what her range of living is. All 3 of those breeds have different like lifespans. They kind of, the highest I saw was 15 years. My last dog lived up to 11 years. So if she lives for most of my 30s, that would be pretty interesting. I would love to see the world with her. The vision I have for me and Zoe is like getting in my car and going to see places, like see the world. And so I really wanted to train her. So I have been doing the training with her. She's been getting really good at it. My thing is that now when the thing is, she's not socialized very well because of the vaccination situation, but she loves people. She's not really aggressive towards people. But other people that may not know her as well as I do may get like frightened, or they repeat commands to her like, sit down, sit. I can foresee us living a very happy life together. If we can go from basically 29 to 39, that is 10 years that we've spent together. And I hope in those 10 years that we've at least gone on some trips together. I don't know how big she's going to be. I just anticipate that she really won't be a dog that can sit under the plane ever. I don't know. Zoe, I would be so nervous to fly with her in a crate or whatever. But I think that will also be easier if like I do get my license. I can always rent a car in a different city, and like, because I'll be hopefully a better driver. So there's that. I did go to Massachusetts a second time with a coworker of mine, who honestly, she is, and I said God works in intentional ways, because she is like another version of myself. And it's really nice to have a friend that kind of is just like me. I love how family oriented she is. She is married. She has a daughter. I love her husband. He's so funny. And they welcomed me on their birthday trip to the mountains, up to the mountains. And they took very good care of me. They made sure I was comfortable. Their friends were very polite, very nice. I never once felt uncomfortable. I had so much fun. I played Clue for the first time ever in my life. And my other coworker that we met, because it's like, we're like a trio, but he did not come on this Massachusetts trip. He's also been a great addition to my life, because when I was like when I was having like, and like whenever there's like any inconvenience at work, or I'm just like, oh my God, these kids are so annoying, or oh my gosh, the principal's coming to observe. Like I'm so nervous what he's gonna say. That coworker, like his first response is pray. Like he could be having the most stressful day at work or some stressful circumstances. On life could be good, it could be great, it could be something stressful. He will just pray. He'll just pray. He'll talk about it. He'll pray. And I feel like it's a good example of something to have in my life. So I feel like switching jobs brought new people in my life that added value, but it's not so much about what Montana can do for them. It's more so about what they can do for Montana. It's weird. And I believe it was all intentional. And I really wasn't trying to become friends with anybody. I said this, but you know, when you are in education and you work on the same team with people, you build a bond through the work. And this is not like trauma, because the job place is not toxic or unhealthy. The conditions are actually good conditions. So under good conditions, you know, you really just mesh well. But like I said, like we really were too new. The three of us are all new to this system. And so when you're new as newbies, you kind of have to stick together. You're newbies in a new system. You're all navigating it. And so, you know, one person has information, another person has information. And when you kind of like come together, you're able to, you know, really have like a nice, good, steady workflow, you know? And so me and that first coworker I was telling you about, we both work on the same team together, and we really co-plan everything. We get a lot of compliments from, you know, our school leadership team about how aligned our grade team is, and like the co-planning and things like that. And then on the other flip side of it is like we have a very good, like, supportive friend group. So like, you know, when somebody's feeling down, like we can always, you know, talk to each other, like pretty much like work or whatever. And I don't know, it just feels good. Like it's nice to be around. I've come to learn that I was talking about cultivating relationships with previous relationships earlier in this video, but I also want to emphasize the importance of having a variety of relationships. Sometimes we get so stuck on having one particular friend, or one particular crowd. It's nice to have a variety of people that, you know, that fill up your cup, right? Now we're in December, and I want to also mention that something that I did this year that I've been talking about for years is I did start therapy. And it's a little bit different. So it's not therapy where you're unpacking past situations. It's more like life coaching where you're like unpacking the present and building the future. And this is very helpful. It's basically called like, it's basically my therapist or life coach, she specializes in transitions, and that's why I picked her, because I'm going through a lot of big transitions. And I would be remiss, or I would not be honest. I only had one session so far. I need to schedule my second session. So editor Montana, as you're watching this, please tell me that at this point that this video is up, you've taken your second session. The purpose of the life coaching is she's gonna help with my personal and professional transitions. And the first session was so eye-opening, and I don't know why I never thought to do therapy before, or just like to speak to someone. Contrary to what people might say about like talking to a professional, it did not feel like I was talking to a professional. It was eye-opening from day one. Like I basically had to do like a questionnaire that broke down my profile. And maybe in a future video, I'll share like what I got for my scores and stuff. But one thing I scored really high in is I'm a very empathetic person. But the downside of being a very empathetic person, I also lack self-compassion. I am very hard on myself. And another thing that was flagged was my physical activity and health and nutrition. One of the big goals as well was to learn how to drive and get a car. I can say that I have 80% mastered learning how to drive. I had a really great lesson last Saturday. My driving instructor gave me 2 fist bumps and a high five. And if you know our interactions and basically just like the hilarity of myself, I am a shy person, but I've definitely came out of my shell over the recent years, right? I cried, I think, after lesson. It was not a good lesson that day. I really, like, halfway through, I was so close to just like getting out of the car and just like leaving. And that would have been so embarrassing. But you know, when your emotions are really high, it's really easy to want to take that route because you just want to protect yourself and get away from the thing that's putting you in such high stress. And I'm really grateful that I did not let that moment define me. And my driving instructor literally said I am not allowed to give up. And I'm really grateful that he said that to me. And I know a lot of people are like, you're spending so much money on driving lessons, blah, 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 blah. But I know the kind of person I am. I also just don't have access to a vehicle that I could just like get up and then practice with somebody in. I also know my anxiety, my fears, all that good stuff, okay? I know it. So I needed to be with a professional, like someone that has worked with people like me, probably people even worse than me, to really get me to where I needed to be. So I'm really grateful that I took the lesson. He says I should take my driving test in late January, early February, and hopefully I pass. But if I don't pass, it will hopefully give me the rest of February and March. The goal is to just pass the test by April. I don't know if I'll have a car by the end of next year, but listen, I know a car just sounds like a lot, but if you are anything like me, then you know, like, I feel like the only person that really, 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 truly understands me would be like my brother-in-law and my sister, because JK Accounting, they will understand me when I say like the car situation, because they have 3 kids, so that also like adds a factor of it. But now that I have a dog, it has really put the fire in my tail to just like get this done. My only wish is that I started this journey back in the summer, because I probably would have been driving by now, and I probably would have had a car, not like this, like at this present moment, but I would have been going into the new year probably with a license and hopefully like car shopping, as opposed to going to the new year trying to get my license and hopefully car shop. I know this is like a very weird angle and lighting, but because access that, I'm not too sure, and even with my phone clip, I'm not fully sure if I really like expressed the ending of how I wanted to do this or not. And so what I wanted to say was that some of my major goals for next year is getting my license, maybe getting a car, living more authentically and honest and transparently with people, and not letting life, because I went through so many transitions and hard, you know, decisions and hard moments this year. I really want next year to really begin the year of a soft life. I want to have less worries, honestly. And I just really want to focus on myself and figure out what what really brings me joy, like what really makes me happy, and just be more authentic and more honest. And that's what this year honestly has taught me, that I was just going through the motions and living through a cycle of, this is what I have to do, this is what's next. And I want to really just like get out of that habit and that pattern. And this is honestly how I really wanted to end the video, by just saying that, that the theme for this year was, will this be my best year yet, right? And it wasn't, but it was a very interesting year, and a lot happened, whether it was good or bad. It's both, right? Like, good or bad, it was all good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all happened for a reason. It was all intentional. Like, it happened for a reason. And so as I go into 2026, it's more so of like, I'm turning 30. I really want that to be the year of me and learning myself and what makes me happy and what I want.